Welcome to the Sunset Strip. I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And we are here to discuss season only, episode 3 of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
The Focus Group.
Okay, were you aware of the fact that Aaron Sorkin is smarter than you?
I'm aware that he thinks he's smarter than I am.
I mean...
But also that he thinks I'm a jerk for thinking I'm smart.
The layers here. Also, this feels like it was written by a Republican as, like, cruel anti-left-wing propaganda. It is beyond me this was written by a left-wing person. This feels like it was written by the people who write those Christian movies I got really into right after college.
But you mean where it's like, why do you hate God? And it's like, there is no God. Like, this total misunderstanding of what atheists are.
It's, everyone's I'm smarter than you, that makes me better than you. The whole Matthew Perry speech, like, of course they didn't get the Commedia dell'arte bit. They were too busy fucking their tractors. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. The level of withering contempt this man has for most of America, not only the middle parts, which he hates for some reasons, he also hates the people who think that they are smart. He hates everyone. Oh my God, this is the most condescending piece of television I think I've ever seen.
Okay, so this is not my segment for Half as Long and Twice as Funny.
Uh-huh.
But I keep thinking about the line from the first episode of, I think it's season 4 of 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Where, and I'm gonna butcher the quote a little bit, but where Jack is like, we'll make those whittling cousin fuckers love your liberal propaganda yet. Yeah. And Liz is like, you just don't like anyone, do you? That's what Aaron Sorkin feels like.
Yes, oh my God, yes.
You just don't like anyone, do you? Okay, this is unrelated too, but just this is how much I love y'all. I watched Aaron Sorkin's masterclass about screenwriting today just to see if it gave me any insights into his screenwriting.
One of us did a lot of homework for this episode.
And I almost texted you this today, and I didn't, so I'm going to share it with you now on air. This is,
right.
Again, unrelated to this episode, but I wanted to text you this line he said, where he was talking about, like, how you get a good idea for a screenplay.
Uh-huh.
And he said, there's 2 parts to getting an idea. Knowing what an idea is, and having one.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm being a little unfair. Like, he expanded on it and made a little more sense in context, but when he said that line, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, Aaron Sorkin.
He's using some sort of brain magic. I'm sorry, well, one of us was busy enriching herself and doing research for this podcast. I've been watching Gravity Falls reaction videos, so, These are the 2 towering intellects, oh my God, you're dealing with this episode. One of us is very prepared.
I also want to say that I did not know all the stuff about Commedia dell'arte that I'm going to say during this podcast. I did some reading, I watched some videos, I, looked into it, so I don't want to be like, everybody already knows all of this. Like, I looked it up today. But I will say, I learned what I learned today before I wrote it in a script and put it out wrong to everyone in the world. Everyone in the world. The 12 people who are watching this episode. All right, let's go.
Yes, we'll get started with the focus group, who are all too dumb to appreciate the pure fucking magic that is fake SNL. I'm sorry, the thing is they're not, though.
Because SNL exists in this world?
No, they're not too dumb.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone loves it even though it's too smart for them, which is the weird thing about this show.
Okay, so the head of the focus group starts off with, tell me what you didn't like about the show. And they're like, well, first of all, the show was amazing. Best show ever. But they didn't like the Commedia dell'arte bit, right? Because Aaron Sorkin, this is like a theme of this show I've noticed, Aaron Sorkin wants to have it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So in this instance, he wants the show to be super successful because it's so good that nobody can deny its genius, but also so genius that only really intelligent people get it. He wants to have it both ways. Yeah, that's going to be a theme that we have forever. Well, for the next 4 or 5 weeks until we're done with this show.
Everyone loves this show, but they're too dumb to get. Oh my god, it's Professor Frink in the.
Oh yeah, the little popper thing, right? Like
yeah.
I understand this on a level you couldn't. You couldn't appreciate this on the same level I do.
I feel bad for people who didn't internalize The Simpsons as a second language, because this is all that episode of Star Trek I hate. People who, didn't do that thing.
I saw a thing on Tumblr where someone was talking about a kid in their college class who was passing around, like, Simpsons to normal people translations to other kids so they would understand their millennial professor.
Oh my god, I kind of love that. I would like a copy of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, The Simpsons is a language. I hate that one episode of Star Trek with the guy who talks entirely in memes. I wish it had been Janeway who had been stuck with him, because she would have just blown his planet up. But
whereas, I love that episode because it's about communicating through memes, which is absolutely a thing we do.
But the weird thing is, I hate that episode. You are right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I hate it. But I love Lieutenant K-Shawn on Lower Decks. And I love the friendship that he has with Ransom.
Uh-huh.
And I love that Ransom starts using, what's the language again?
I don't remember.
But, like, Ransom starts using the same language as K-Shawn when K-Shawn's not around. Like, it's just something he casually does. And they become friends because he studied it at the academy.
He learns the memes, right? He learns the language.
Yeah, and it's
very demure. Very mindful.
Yes.
Very cutesy.
It's such a good character beat for Ransom. Lower Decks is such a good show, and it starts out, like, solid, and then it gets better and better. Like, the last season was all bangers. They had an entire season of pure bangers.
I was going to say, should we do Welcome to the Lower Decks after this? But we're actually going to do Welcome to the Q Continuum after this, so we'll hit on at least one episode of Lower Decks.
We can talk about the whole episode even if Q just shows up for like 10 seconds at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do whatever we want.
It's our podcast. We could talk about Lower Decks right now, and in fact are instead of this episode, so
yeah.
Let's get back into it. The focus group is focusing.
Okay, so this person is complaining that he didn't think the Commedia dell'arte bit was funny. And this starts like a runner through the episode. This is a thing that Aaron Sorkin loves to do, where people who are in different situations make the same joke. Anyway, Jordan is essentially making fun of this guy who's like, I didn't get the French clown. And she's like, Italian. Because Commedia dell'arte is Italian. And I just want to point out that, and I'm just going to put a pin in this right now, Jeannie is playing the Pantaloon character. We will unpin that pin when we get to it. I just want you to note what Aaron Sorkin says he is doing, so that I can point out how wrong he is about what Commedia dell'arte is. Which, oh my god, in a very meta way, I have become this runner where I'm like, Aaron Sorkin thinks that the Harlequin character and the Pantaloon character are the same character because.
Well, yeah, because the running thing with this episode is every time someone references the sketch, they get something wrong and have to be corrected by someone else. It's the runner that runs across every single person talking about this sketch.
Right, so
and now it's continued onto this podcast.
Maybe that was the joke. Maybe Aaron Sorkin is smarter than I thought.
I mean, it's kind of a genius joke if it forces you, the watcher, to continue it. You have been drawn into this show. You are part of the universe of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip right now.
I mean, it was bound to happen. I feel like I've watched this show more than most people.
I mean, that's an incredibly low bar to clear.
Even people who watched it, I feel like I've watched this show so many times. Anyway.
But you know what is an actual line of comedic genius? What Stephen Weber says to Rumpelstiltskin. I don't remember the girl's name, the girl writer's name.
Jordan? Why Rumpelstiltskin? Her name is Jordan.
I thought Jordan was the CEO.
That's Jack. What are you talking?
The female writer Matthew Perry hooked up his ex-girlfriend.
Jeannie.
Yeah. Isn't it Jeannie who's... No, you're right.
Okay,
it is Jordan. I'm not doing this on purpose.
Okay, let's try this all over. What line do you love?
The line that Jack says to not Jeannie, I guess, to Jordan.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Oh, yeah, we're not there yet. We're not there. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're going to talk about that line. Okay. But
because I think it is the finest piece of writing in human history.
I actually kind of do too. But right now we're talking about the fact that Jack is like, people don't get English Restoration comedy. And she's like, it's Italian Renaissance.
You buffoon.
You know what's weird to me is that Ricky and Ron are sitting in on this focus group meeting.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Like, it is not okay that they're having a focus group and they're having two writers who are not the head writer, who are in fact in a power struggle with the head writer, sitting in on the focus group.
Okay, so Jordan is like, look, it's not our fault that all of America is too dumb for this brilliant sketch. And Jack's like, you have to think better of your viewers because this is the only network that's brave and smart enough to even be having this conversation.
Oh my god, Aaron Sorkin is just smelling his own farts, which might sound like a crude thing to say, a crude way to put it, but I want you to know that Commedia dell'arte is bathroom humor all the way down, so it's appropriate.
Yeah. I was going to wait until later, but I'm just going to bring it up here. I don't even know if it's Commedia dell'arte. The thing that I was thinking about every time they were talking about this is that one episode of King of the Hill.
That is.
Where Bobby gets trained to be a professional clown. And, like, it's awful to all of his, 4th or 5th grade classmates who all think it's the dumbest thing in the universe. And then he realizes that his classic class clowning was the only thing stopping him from getting the shit kicked out of him. So he just goes back to fart humor.
Okay, well, now that I've done all this research about Commedia dell'arte, I have a problem with that episode of King of the Hill, too. Because the whole way that it works is that it's a bunch of stock characters that interact with each other in different stock plots. So, Bobby doing a singular stock character does not make sense.
Wait, is the dog that thinks it's a man a stock character?
Yeah, he's Pagliacelli the clown, is a stock character from Commedia, is one of the stock characters in Commedia dell'arte.
Ah, and that's what he was doing?
Yeah.
Even though he was a dog?
Yeah. But he's not, he's doing, okay, so then Commedia dell'arte has all of these different runners that are like classic runners, and what you do is, and just like disclaimer, this is from me doing a lot of reading today only, this is not like deep research.
Yes.
But apparently what you do is, like, you have all of these different runners that you memorize, and that you go out and you perform, like, various, like, gags. Like, you have various gags memorized, and then you go out and you perform them. Like, I actually watched a really cool one that was, like, a specific, like, juggling interaction that happens between the Harlequin and Pantaloon. But, because most of it's very physical. It's a very slapstick comedy.
Okay, this sounds just genuinely awful.
You know what, though? Okay, but to, like, kind of put it in context...
Yes.
It's a very, like, physical comedy, and it depends on the way that different characters interact with each other. Mm-hmm. So, imagine, like, the Three Stooges. Then imagine that this teacher had taught Bobby to just be one of the Three Stooges, and he had tried to go out there and do some sort of performance. That's essentially what happens in that King of the Hill episode.
I don't know, watching one guy beat the shit out of himself would be pretty funny. And also might inspire you to start a fight club.
So they do a walk and talk to Jack's office, where he's like, look, we didn't just do the focus group in LA, we did it all over the country, and all over the country they all said the same thing to the question on page 6. The question on page 6 is Studio 60 patriotic or unpatriotic? And this is the line you were talking about. Okay. There's a line in a future episode that Nathan Rabin of the AV Club and the Television Without Pity talk about a lot. It's kind of the line they point to as their iconic terrible line, but and I'll mention it when we get to that line. Mm-hmm. But it's not in this episode. To me, this is the line. This is the line of Studio 60.
Yes.
Jordan wants to know why they're even asking in a comedy about patriotism. It's a comedy show. She says, since when did Democrat or Republican become a demographic distinction we care about in the entertainment industry?
Oh my god.
And Jack says, since the first plane made a left turn and gunned its engines into the North Tower, kitten.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What the fuck, Aaron?
The thing is, in a weird way, I feel like this line is genuinely brilliant. The horrifyingly casual turn of phrase, ending it with kitten inexplicably.
Well,
like,
you gotta get the misogyny in there, or it's not an Aaron Sorkin line.
Did you not realize that Jordan was a woman? Because despite being a woman, she does have the name of a man. So in the middle, at the end of this bizarrely phrased reference to a horrifying event that has led to so much death.
And keep in mind, this is 2005, so we're still only 4 years out from it when this show is airing. And not 24 years out from it as we are now.
Oh my god. I don't know. It's horrible, but it's brilliantly horrible. Like, I genuinely do not know how to feel about this line.
I mean, it is a good, like, encapsulation of everything, right? It's like this massive tragedy that has affected the way that we even communicate with each other. And Jack, as the studio exec, is just worried about what it means for our bottom line. And as I said, he slips that misogyny in there, just nice and gentle, too. Kitten.
God.
But then we, the viewers, are supposed to feel something about it, too.
Yeah, I don't get what I'm supposed to think right now. Which, considering how much this show holds your hand through everything else it does, are we supposed to be on Jack's side here? Is this a negative? Is this just a plain statement that has neither positive nor negative value to it? Like, is he stating a fact? Because it seems like he's stating a fact, but he's also clearly the asshole.
Well, I mean, we're definitely supposed to side with Jordan as she, like, takes a stand. Or rather, we're supposed to stand with Matt and Danny taking a stand for, like, what they believe in, and patriotism doesn't mean jingoism, and, you know, all of this stuff. But Jordan is correct, but got there by being naive. So we're supposed to have disdain for Jordan, who doesn't understand the way the world works, but respect and admiration for Matt and Danny, who know the way the world works, but stand in opposition to it anyway because of their values. At the end of this episode, when Danny says to Jordan, you look like one of them, but you sound like one of us, that's what it is, right? She got there through her naivete. So she is a character to be derided. Jack understands how the world is. Kitten.
Unfortunately, we do have to move on to the rest of this episode.
We are 2 minutes in.
We could just live in the word kitten.
We really could.
That could be our new home.
But I have so much to say about the Ealing, Missouri runner, and I have so much to say about the Commedia dell'arte bit, and we're not even close to those yet.
We have been recording for over 20 minutes. And we are 2 minutes into the episode.
To be fair, some of that is the stuff we were talking about before we were technically talking about the episode that I'm going to cut out.
3 minutes of it.
Where we were talking about the Colleen Hoover.
Oh my god.
It ends with us.
Anyway.
And I'm saying this now so that our listeners know that they missed out on our It Ends With Us conversation.
Anyway, the scene ends with Jordan's DUI being blasted on the TV because scandal, and, you know, that distracts from the focus group thing. And it will lead us to Jordan's little plot for the rest of this episode, which...
Yeah, I have things to say about that, too.
I mean, is it a misogyny thing?
Yes.
Like, I mean, it has to be a misogyny thing, right? Like, I'm assuming every single rich person out there has a DUI story, like...
It is absolutely a misogyny thing, because... As you said, yeah, everyone has a DUI story.
Every rich person has a DUI story.
Yes. And also, the scandal is going to turn into her going to sex clubs. That is a decision that was made in the writer's room to make that be the scandal.
Uh-oh, she's a woman, but she had sex in a non-traditional way. Also, this weird thing where it was also abusive because...
It was coercive.
It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, we'll talk about that too.
Because it keeps her pure in a way if, like, she did this...
She didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, she did something which the narrative is choosing to portray as bad, but they also don't want us to judge her, so it was unwilling, which is...
I wouldn't go as far as to say unwilling. Because that... But she was dragged there by her now ex-husband.
Maybe unwilling's too strong a word, but, like...
Coercive, I think, is...
You have to be aware that she didn't enjoy it, so we can be okay with her as a character, which is... bad.
Also, by the way, I guess we're talking about this now. By the way, note that she says that they went to clubs where they watched people have sex.
Yeah.
So don't worry, Jordan didn't engage in group sex. She's still pure enough that she can end up with Danny.
Barf.
Poor Jordan. Anyway, we go to credits, and then when we come back, we're at a rehearsal at the studio where they were rehearsing this week's sketch, Science Schmience.
Oh my god.
Which...
This is
a hate crime.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like this is a kind of racism you see in liberal circles.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is the kind of racist thing you write when you're like, I'm super liberal, so nothing I do could possibly be racist.
This is the kind of racism you get when you're like, hey, I take shots at everybody.
Ugh. Which, it leads you on the path to being a libertarian. Look at the South Park guys.
I was thinking about the South Park guys.
This always ends in libertarianism.
So the conceit of this sketch is that it is a science trivia show, and the contestants are a woman from Liberty College.
From Liberty Bible College. A Muslim guy. A Jewish guy.
A witch!
I was building to it. It's Tom Cruise and a witch.
Okay, sorry.
Witch needs to be the button.
I just like the way they're just like, and a witch.
And a witch, yes, because it needs to be the button. That's why you do Tom Cruise and then the witch. Which, I guess Tom Cruise was rife for parody, in this time period, but also, doesn't that feel kind of lazy for your super smart show? Everyone took pot shots at Tom Cruise. What's next? A Charlie Sheen joke?
Okay, so they're reading off the categories, right? The categories are geology, archaeology, something, whatever, and psychiatry. And Matt's watching the sketch and, reworking it as they watch it, because that's what you do at a table read. Mm-hmm. Or I guess this isn't a table read, it's on its feet, but, that's what you do.
Yes.
And Matt says, we need to change psychiatry to medicine. One of the other writers says, psychiatry's going to get a bigger laugh. And Matt says, but it's the only laugh it's going to get, because if we've got Tom Cruise up there, once you say psychiatry, you've already got the joke and we're done. And here's my question for you, Matt. Do you think that the joke isn't done after you say the name of the show is Science Schmience? Is the joke not done? The joke's done!
I mean, to be fair, it is very true to the spirit of SNL for a 6-minute-long sketch to be a single joke repeated over and 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 over again until you want to die. That's a very SNL thing to do.
I guess.
But the thing is, we're seeing a lot of these sketches now, and I know it's our whole segment later, but I'm just going to put this out there now. I'll come back to it when the segment is on, but this reminds me of 30 Rock in a way that does not benefit Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah, we'll get to it later.
I'm sorry, but this is no fart doctor.
Yeah, we'll get to it later when we go through the list of shows that we see a little tiny bit of in this episode.
This is no Amelia Earhart gets her period.
Also, This is so petty of me. This is so petty of me.
Yes.
But one of the lines we hear is the Jewish character, when he's asked a question, he says he refuses to answer the question until the girl from Liberty University covers up her arms. When we see the sketch in its final form, her outfit has covered arms.
Oh my God.
So was the costumer not paying attention? Did they decide that joke wasn't funny enough? And if they decided that joke wasn't funny enough, why is the skit still on the air? Just throwing that out there. Oh, also, the Jewish guy, the Jewish contestant, is being played by Studio 60's guest host this week, who is Rob Reiner. I know from watching the Aaron Sorkin masterclass that Rob Reiner was actually really important to Aaron Sorkin's career because he got him the job writing American President, which really kind of led to The West Wing and everything else that happened for him.
Yeah.
All right, so we go from the studio back into Jack's office where Jordan is talking about her DUI that she got because she was coming back from a party and she'd had a little too much to drink. She got lost, so she pulled over to ask a cop for directions, and he gave her a breathalyzer, and she was over the limit, so... It
was really nice of Jordan to take a break from being at a country club in the 80s to be here at this meeting.
I know, she's got a sweater tied around her shoulders.
I know you're the CEO or whatever, but this is a company. Dress like a professional.
Okay, listen, podcasts are a audio medium, so I'm trying to stay away from talking about outfits, but when we talk...
Oh my God, we talk about outfits so much on our Charm podcast.
Okay, but I try to do it less than I would. I mean, if it was a visual medium, if we were doing a YouTube show, I would just be wall to wall talking about the terrible outfits. But I do have to say, as part of Aaron Sorkin's just underlying misogyny, the way that these poor women are dressed in the whole show... I know that's not on him or whatever, but it's funnier this way.
Well, it's like when we're watching Charmed and we blame everything bad on Brad Kern. It's probably not all him, but, it's fun. He made money. He was, I think, horrible to actresses or something. It's fine.
Oof.
It's fine. He forced Constance M. Burge out even though it was her show. It's fine to poke some fun.
Yes.
We're not bad people. We're just having a good time.
It's okay for us to bully, powerful Hollywood people that we will never meet. If I've learned anything from Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, it's that powerful Hollywood people really hate us for not being Hollywood people and being on the internet and having opinions, even though we don't live in Hollywood. But they also hate each other for hating us and not being part of the common folk. So I'm not sure where this ends up, but I think what it means is I can make fun of Aaron Sorkin.
Hi, Aaron Sorkin. We love you. We are gonna continue to say horrible stuff about you. I mean, you have mentioned on air this episode that you have watched Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip multiple times.
I'm sure I've watched Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip more than his mother has.
You and Aaron Sorkin have a profound psychic connection based on that alone. This is like a hostile version of... no, I guess that already is kind of hostile. A parasocial relationship.
Oh.
Because you have literally crawled inside of that man's brain.
He's my parasocial enemy as opposed to, parasocial friends.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You understand him better than so many other people do.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't want this podcast to just be me reading essays that Nathan Rabin has written for the AV Club.
But...
the whole, if Aaron Sorkin has no haters, I'm dead. If Aaron Sorkin has one hater, it's Nathan Rabin. If he has two, it's Nathan Rabin and me. I don't feel like I can rise to those levels, though I do aspire to them.
I mean, but isn't that the mark of an artist, right? To inspire great emotion?
That's why I say this show is both a really good and really terrible. It's so fun to hate watch.
That's the thing, it's not good, but it's frequently brilliant.
It's not good, but it's frequently brilliant. Yes. That is exactly it. Okay, on our other podcasts, I make a point to, even though I've seen the show before, to not watch ahead. Because if we're going to record, I don't want to be influenced by things that happen like 3 episodes later.
It would probably be helpful in our Charm podcast because then we would know when Chris gets revealed as...
When does Chris... But anyway.
Yes.
This show, I have watched an episode for us to record and then just kept going. And we're on episode 3. So I've done like full watches like 3 times in the last month of this show.
See? Like, that is something you do when you have a connection to someone.
It's something to something.
I really hope we never meet Aaron Sorkin in real life because it would be very awkward and I am not sure how it would go down.
I mean, we know he hates us.
We
because
do.
We're people on the internet
who are talking about one of his shows.
With 0 credentials.
Yes. I mean, you have an English degree.
I do have an English degree.
I have an art degree, which is like mega useless.
I guess we're a little credentialed then.
Yeah.
But you know,
but I mean,
a major American newspaper hasn't given us a column.
When we were talking about Commedia dell'arte, the thing I referenced was the Bobby Hill episode of King of the Hill. Like, he has no respect for us.
He also really hates Star Trek, which you've also talked about.
Oh my god. Have you seen Lower Decks? We're going to do a podcast next. We're going to get in contact with Aaron Sorkin, and we are going to do a podcast where we make him watch every episode of Lower Decks with us.
There's an episode of West Wing where he makes a woman to get mad at because she wears a Star Trek pin to work.
Oh my god.
And one of the characters is like, this is the White House! Get your fucking shit together! You can't walk around in a Star Trek pin!
And this is a
And
character
like,
we're supposed to like and sympathize with.
Yeah, and she's like, the Federation stands for the values that I think at its very best the government should stand for. And he's like, yeah, okay, you know what? I like Star Trek too, but I don't bring it into the workplace. I just bring that weird spoken word poem, The Jackal, into the workplace. That was an Easter egg for you West Wing fans. You wing nuts.
Oh my god, that can't be the best.
I just made it up. I like it.
Oh, okay. I thought it might have been a television without pity thing.
No, I just made it up off the top of my head.
Okay.
Wing nuts.
Not Westies.
Wing nuts is better than Westies.
The Swifties are going to get mad at you now because it sounds sort of like something they're very, very normal about.
Westies?
Yeah, it sounds kind of like Swifties.
Okay,
And-
you're stretching.
Oh, have you never seen a Taylor Swift fan get mad at someone for something completely unrelated to Taylor Swift?
Shh, we don't talk about Taylor Swift. Anyway, at the end of the Science Schmiance sketch, all the power went out because
God hates them.
God hates them.
By the way, I love Sarah Paulson's witch costume.
It's just a giant hat that, like, covers her eyes.
It's fantastic. Plus, she later plays a witch in American Horror Story Coven.
Oh, yeah, she does. And the reason she's wearing the hat is, like, they're not really in costume yet, but they're, like, figuring out what the pieces are going to be, so.
What do you think about the fact that Ryan Murphy made all of those movies connected? He did, like, a giant crossover season, or all those TV shows connected, and then he did, like, a giant crossover season, because I feel like that's kind of too much.
So it might be like a basic bitch trait of mine, but I do love an interconnected universe. In fact, I was recently, the show that has been my background show lately has been House, which I have some opinions on. But the actor who plays Smith Jerrod in Sex and the City plays an actor in House. Like, he's an actor on the soap opera that House watches.
Mm-hmm.
And he also plays an actor in How I Met Your Mother. In The Wedding Bride, he's Tony, the Tony character in The Wedding Bride. So,
and The Wedding Bride is a movie about how Emma from Once Upon a Time leaves Ted Mosby for her karate instructor ex-husband.
it's actually Sarah Chalke from Scrubs.
Damn it!
I
That's
know,
so
it
close.
would be good. It would be good if we could get them all together. No.
Yeah, because the woman who played Emma in Once Upon a Time was also in both How I Met Your Mother and House as different characters.
Jennifer Morrison, that's true. But
And
no.
apparently she was in love with House, which I cannot picture.
I just accepted it when I was watching. That's one of the feelings I have about House now, rewatching it. I just accepted that when I watched House the first time, but rewatching it, I'm like, what? No. No.
I mean,
I do not buy it.
maybe it's just because I am the most powerful Swan Queen shipper in the world, but I just cannot see her with dudes in anything.
Well, my point, though, is that now I have decided that How I Met Your Mother, House, and Sex and the City all take place in the same universe, and they're connected by this one actor, Smith Jarrett.
Yes. I know it doesn't work exactly, but I kind of hope that means Buffy is canon to that universe too, because then it means that the mayor from Buffy is married to Peter Petrelli's mom.
Wait, why would Buffy be canon in that universe?
Just because the actor who plays the mayor is Ted Mosby's mom's new husband in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, okay.
And he's also that Beta Zed who tried to hook up with Data in Next Gen.
Yes. Who tried to collect him.
Why is everyone so obsessed with Data's ass? He's the worst. Every episode with him is so bad. That's my hot Star Trek take for all y'all out there. I don't like Data.
I didn't know that.
How did you not know that? I feel like I'm really upfront about
I
it.
did not know that. Wow. Wow.
Plus, every time Geordi gets something cool to do, then it has to be related to Data.
Because you're best friends.
Geordi's too cool for Data. Geordi should be best friends with Riker.
No!
Yeah. Come on, that's a hilarious dynamic. It's like Phoebe and Ross.
Okay, I'm probably going to cut this.
Okay.
But you have to understand that Geordi and Data are like Troy and Abed, right? It's the like cool guy who's actually kind of nerdy.
Mm-hmm.
And like the super nerdy guy that like join forces and become friends. Whereas Riker is like the Jeff. Would you say that Troy should be best friends with Jeff?
No.
That makes no sense.
Okay, and that linkage is making me like them better, even though, obviously, Data is no Abed. Was Data on DuckTales, Larry?
He actually might have been. I mean...
Oh yeah, that DuckTales reboot had a lot of people in it.
It did. I wouldn't be surprised if Brent Spiner showed up on DuckTales. So the power's out at Studio 60, and we go to the dressing room where everything is being lit by candles and candelabras because I guess...
Flashlights don't exist.
The PAs ran to the magic store next door to get candles. No, I'm not making a joke. That's the in-universe explanation for it.
Okay, I would totally go to a magic store that was next to his studio. That seems like an awesome place for a magic store.
Oh, they would have the coolest stuff because they're like catering to the shows.
Oh, who's that really weird dude who it turns out is Wiccan? Is it like Matt Damon or something?
David Boreanaz is Wiccan,
Yeah.
I learned this week.
Yes, David Boreanaz is Wiccan, which is so weird because he's the most like Catholic dude to ever be in stuff.
Although as a former Catholic, as a lapsed Catholic, I should have put the connection between Catholic and Wiccan together.
There is kind of a direct pipeline between those two things.
Yes.
As you said, lots of ceremony, lots of incense, overlap.
So, Ricky and Ron come downstairs to talk to the gang, to talk specifically to Simon about the fact that he's doing News 60 this week, and kind of scare him and be like, you're the first black guy to ever do News 60.
Ugh.
And also, the show lives and dies on our version of Weekend Update, so I hope you don't fuck it up.
I thought your show lived or died on fucking Gilbert and Sullivan parodies.
Well, it lives and dies on the cold open, so yeah, kinda.
Wait, is Weekend Update the cold open? Or is it just in this episode?
No, News 60 isn't the cold open. This is... Wait, what?
You said a show lives or dies on the cold open.
That's what they told us last week.
Oh, so yeah.
Because last week was about the cold open, so they told us it lived or died on the cold open.
Okay. So Sarah Paulson is claiming that God has her back in all things. And that maybe he's doing this because he doesn't like it when you do sketches making fun of him.
Okay, whatever. So, the big three, Harriet, Simon, and Tom, are all kind of reading news stories and trying to figure out what they're going to talk about on News 60 when Tom sees a story about a high school in Ealing, Missouri, where they were doing a production of Grease, and then the town was so scandalized by Grease that they shut it down. And okay,
Not the teen pregnancy plot.
Oh, so no, this is my thing, right? Aaron Sorkin wants even though Harriet is going to be shown to be right when she defends Missouri, Aaron Sorkin wants to paint them as more ridiculous than they are. So when he says, like, why don't they like Grease? It's like, oh, Rizzo sneaks out and smokes cigarettes and everything.
Rizzo gets teen pregnant.
And gets an abortion.
And, yeah, and, like, she gets an abortion. It doesn't say it out and out, like, she's just like, I guess I wasn't pregnant after all, but it's
that's
like...
in the movie. In the play, it's much more explicit. In the play, it's up to interpretation if she, like, miscarried or if it was an abortion, but it's much clearer that, like, she was, in fact, pregnant. In the movie, she's like, no, I wasn't pregnant!
False positive!
Which almost never happens, by the way.
Which also, I feel like kind of... Even in the movie, I feel like the implication is definitely Rizzo got an abortion.
But the point is, like, it's not that the superintendent was okay with that part. It's that Aaron Sorkin can't mention that part because you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see how high school would be pissed off about that.
I mean, granted I was in middle school, I was in a production of Grease where we had to strip out, I think I've talked about this on the air before, but I was in a production of Grease in middle school where we had to strip out the entire teen pregnancy subplot and a ton of other little stuff. I mean, I get cutting the line Pussy Wagon from Grease Lightning.
The entire song Grease Lightning is super filthy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you didn't do Grease Jr.
I also don't. We just did the regular version and they crossed a bunch of stuff out.
That's weird. And also not within the contract of your rights, but whatever.
I also want to be clear, this was not in my school, this was at theater camp, because you might not believe this, but I went to theater camp.
What?
I know, shocking. You might also not believe this, but Grease had the best role I ever got in my many years at theater camp, and I was Vince Von Taine.
That's an amazing role. I don't know why you would like...
It's an amazing role, but I have 3 monologues, which granted I got monologues, but I got 3 monologues and then I'm not in the rest of the play, which was fine by me. I was not a big on stage person.
Yeah. I think that's a great role. Okay. In Ealing, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids this year, after Grease got shut down, this year they were going to put on The Crucible. And
yeah, of course, the perfect follow-up to Grease. The Crucible.
Well, it actually makes sense if you think about that they did, like, a spring musical, but they do, like, a fall straight play.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And if you have, like, a good theater program, which my high school did not.
Well, also, if you think about it, if they are doing The Crucible, they're probably doing it because...
it's really cheap to do.
Exactly. But the superintendent has shut it down because it casts Christians in a negative light.
Hey, you know what else casts Christians in a negative light? Human history.
Oof. So now they're going to do Midsummer Night's Dream instead, which
as they pointed out here, like, it's partner swapping the play.
But also, I'm going to point out, very cheap to do.
Yes. Drugs and partner swapping the play. Drugs, bestiality, and partner swapping the play.
Okay, but they don't seem to understand what the joke is that they want to make fun of, right? So, the joke is obviously, like, The Crucible is, like, a serious, upstanding play, and you cancel it and replace it with a play where a bunch of fairies swap partners and turn a guy into...
How do you not make the joke there? The joke's super obvious. Oh, we're going to cancel this, you know. I honestly, I can't think of another high school play that's Crucible enough. We're going to cancel the Crucible and instead stage something wholesome like Debbie Does Dallas because it has good Christian values like be neighborly. There's your fucking joke. I'm sorry, did I step on your lines? Oh my god.
I just showed Max my notes where I literally wrote down Debbie Does Dallas would be a better joke.
I love you very much. Possibly because we share a brain.
Because they're not sure what the joke is.
How are you not sure? It's the most obvious goddamn joke on the planet.
But here's what I'm saying. Okay, because the joke that they make is other plays that were canceled were Damn Yankees for its portrayal of the Christian devil.
He's the antagonist.
Wait. Wait, listen to why this doesn't work. Damn Yankees for its portrayal of the Christian devil, and Bye Bye Birdie for its Elvis character's rock hip gyrations.
Mm-hmm.
And then Simon throws out the topper and Astroglide asses because of its homosexuality. And that's not the joke. The joke is that the Crucible is the upstanding play that you toss out, and you toss out a play that is not objectionable and substituted it with one that is. And instead you have suggested 2 plays and reasons why they might have objections that are unreasonable. And then you've suggested tossing out a 3rd one, which obviously would be tossed out. The joke would be that you were going to do Astroglide asses, not that you weren't. And also, that's not funny. It's just shocking because that's not a play. You know what would be funny? It's like Equus.
Hair. Okay, yeah. Yours is better because it involves having sex with a horse.
Okay, but see, and mine's better because then Aaron Sorkin could have a character be like, do you think people in Peoria know the play Equus enough to get the joke?
Yeah. Oh, do you think people in Peoria know the play Hair enough to get the joke? When was the last?
Everybody knows that.
Does everyone know that?
Everybody knew it in 2005.
Yeah. I feel like we're past the point in time where you could assume people would understand a reference to Hair.
I mean, I remember them making jokes about it in, like, 90s TV shows. So, anyway.
It's the play where everyone gets naked in the second act.
See,
I kind of really want to watch Schmigadoon again now.
We could. We have that ability.
Yeah.
See, my joke would be to say that they were going to do Debbie Does Dallas, but they tossed it out because of its negative portrayal of collegiate sports. Because, see, then the joke is that you should toss it out because it's about cheerleaders prostituting themselves to go to the cheerleading competition. And instead, you're tossing it out because it's disparaging an institution that people are clinging to in a manner that is not healthy, much like the way they are with Christianity with the Crucible. See, then it works. Then it mirrors what's actually happening.
Yes, although I do stand by my pitch where they keep on replacing plays with filthier plays.
They cancel.
Yeah.
When they were they were made aware of the sexual content of Midsummer Night's Dream, so they have replaced it with a stage version of Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah, no, but not that they were made aware of the sexual stuff, that they realized that fairies were unchristian.
Oh!
Like, you have to have them getting rid of it for a dumb reason and then replacing it with some...
Yeah.
See, there are a lot of ways I feel like you can make this joke work that they're just not doing for some reason. And again, I know it's easy to, 12 years after this went off the air? 20 years after this went off the air quarterback, but come on, these are not hard jokes to make.
I mean, it's very, very clear to me that Aaron Sorkin does not write
comedy,
and he doesn't understand why comedy works. What's weird is, Mark McKinney is a writer on the show because, specifically, I assume because of his sketch background. But also we know that Aaron Sorkin is selfish in the writer's room, so that could be part of what's going on here.
What? No. Not Aaron Sorkin. Oh my god, we do need to hurry this up. We're an hour into recording. And only 4 of those minutes are us talking before.
Well, the good news is I've already done my diatribe about Ealing, Missouri now. Well, I've done half of it. Oh my so I only have one long diatribe left.
So, D.L. Hewley's like, why do you think God's on your side? Why don't you think God likes me? Because she's like, God turned off the power because he loves me, and he's on my side, and he thinks that we shouldn't make fun of him, and also he hates you, one black cast member.
Yeah.
And then he's like, how do you know God hates me and loves you? And she gestures wildly, and the lights turn back on. And I want to put this out there. I think it would be hilarious if Sarah Paulson's character actually was a witch.
She's just pretending to be a Christian?
It's the perfect cover. No one would know.
That would be good.
Also, does she have magic powers? Because it seems like she timed that.
I mean, no. It's just God, I think. I think in the universe of the show, it's just God.
God is real, and he is on Sarah Paulson's. You know what that makes sense.
Yeah. So, back in Matt's office, Ricky and Ron have shown up to deliver the news from the focus group, specifically that America thinks that they hate America.
Which, yeah, you're a comedy show. Unless you're super right-wing, everyone's going to assume that you hate America.
So Danny gets really mad at Ricky and Ron for bringing the focus group stuff up because it's just going to get in everyone's head. It's just going to screw everyone up.
Even though the focus group loved everything except the Comedial Our Day skit.
And also thought they weren't patriotic. And
they thought they weren't patriotic, but they loved everything anyway.
Yes.
So who cares, which is kind of the point, But
Rick says that he's just doing as he was told, and I can't believe Aaron Sorkin resisted the urge to make a Nazi joke there, a Hitler joke.
Seriously. Well, he's better than that.
Is he?
But yeah, this is, if you want to see impotent white men hating each other, this is the scene for you, because they're wailing on each other like a couple of wet noodles.
Well, don't forget what we're going to learn later, which is that Danny staged this whole thing. So he's really just abusing Ricky and Ron as part of his little pantomime.
For Matt.
Because
Matt's his special boy, but not in a gay way.
Oh my
Don't
God.
worry, these two guys aren't gay. This was a thing in this time period. You were talking about House, which is one of the more... Although, is it fair to say that when it's a Sherlock and Watson adaptation? Is it fair to point out the gayness in a Sherlock and Watson adaptation?
Well, where they had close male friendships, where then they felt necessary to be like, but in a straight way.
Like in every Bill Lawrence show, or in Boston Legal even. The fact that, Denny Crane and Alan, was it?
James Spader?
James Spader's character. Like, the show is very clear about it being a romance, but not one where they have sex with each other because they're both men. The series literally ends with the two of them getting married.
Honestly, though, I feel like for the time, the show let not Boston Legal, Scrubs. Scrubs let JD and Turk be close in a way that for the time is surprising.
Yeah, and they have Turk has the gay panic episode with the the interracial couple.
Mm-hmm.
But, and the Guy Love song, but, even with all the pot shots they take, one of the things I very much enjoy is Dr. Cox's speech about how he's not making fun of JD for being gay because he likes and respects gay people. He's calling him a little girl.
Because he hates women.
Yes.
Seriously, the misogyny that runs through... I know we're calling Aaron Sorkin out on it right now, but it runs...
Well, we can take a little break to dunk on Bill Lawrence.
Deep in the early 2000s, especially, like I said, rewatching House, I'm like, dang, well, you're not... That's not edgy, you're just mean and sexist and racist.
Yeah, again, it's the thing I think about whenever I think about House, the Mad TV episode where they did a House Grey's Anatomy crossover where... He calls Meredith Grey a sexist slur, and she says the line, which I think about all the time. That wasn't even clever. That was just mean.
Yeah.
But also, yes, Scrubs let JD and Turk basically be married, and they talk about the two of them raising their kids together, at the end. But also Bill Lawrence. Bill Lawrence's whole thing with women is summed up perfectly in that one bit from Cougar Town, where all of the women are talking to Travis about how every single woman is an icy bitch goddess from hell and an insecure, whining, sniveling mess, and they can switch between the two of them randomly and with the full force of their personality. And I'm like, wow, that is literally every single woman Bill Lawrence has ever written. Icy bitch goddess, or, sniveling wreck.
I mean, no offense to her, but maybe that's just Krista Miller, Bill Lawrence.
Not every woman is your wife, who you love and are terrified of.
Apparently.
But also feel comfortable. She's in every single thing that he does. She is in it as the dominant female force that feeds off of the man she has attached herself to, whether he's a strong man who is weak and who is weak to her, a la Dr. Cox, or a weak man who is subservient to her, a la Andy from Cougar Town. Although we discovered that Andy's actually a powerful executive at his company. We just think of him as whipped because we only ever see him around Ellie.
Yeah, Krista Miller's character.
And then he does the same thing with the new Clone High show. When Krista Miller can't be Cleo anymore because racism.
So she becomes the weird, over principal who's overseeing Scudworth.
Yeah, who then turns Scudworth into, the sniveling worm guy.
I mean, to be fair,
he always kind of was. But, she's the woman who dominates him. And even if you go back to the original Clone High, Cleo was the one who was dominating JFK, who was, the fundamental masculine ideal.
And then later Abe.
In every single thing Bill Lawrence does, he takes a powerful man and has him as
brought low by Krista Miller.
Yeah. Fair. It's cool that that's your dynamic with your wife. It's weird to have it as the centerpiece of every single show you do.
Now, is it more or less weird than the way Aaron Sorkin is processing his feelings about Kristen Chenoweth on this show?
Oh my god. Well, I think it's less weird because it's clearly a dynamic they're both okay with. Otherwise, she would have dominated him out of casting her in that role in every single TV show he does.
Kristen Chenoweth?
Krista Miller.
It's better in Bill Lawrence is better than Aaron Sorkin. That's what we're saying.
Yes, it's better that Bill Lawrence is publicizing his very sub-dom relationship with his wife. We're assuming in everything because that's always the role she plays in every single thing he does. So maybe that's not their dynamic at all, and this is just a fantasy of his or something. Or
maybe it's the opposite of their dynamic, and he just and they both just feel like it's fun to play it out.
Yeah,
the opposite.
He might just think it's funny because that's not their dynamic.
Maybe Krista Miller is super nice, and so he thinks it's funny writing her roles where she gets to go and just be an alpha bitch.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I do love her being an alpha bitch. It is
amazing. God, me too.
I want to be clear, I've used the B word multiple times throughout the course of this conversation, and I want to be clear, I mean it in the best, most awesome Lana Parrilla in Once Upon a Time way possible.
Yes. So, bad ways to use words. Danny calls Matt a pussy and says
he calls him a pussy boy.
A pussy boy because he is not putting on political sketches that skewer Bush because he's so afraid of being called unpatriotic like he was 4 years ago when he got canceled.
And Matt correctly calls out, you mean you want us to do more Bush jokes? The most played out thing in the fucking universe in 2004?
He says he's got one Bush joke on this week, and Danny's like, yeah, you have it in the death slot at 12:55. And Matt says Wayne's World premiered in that slot. Which I bring up only because it's another kind of weird runner on this episode where focus groups and essentially nobody is qualified to say what's really funny. During the focus group, they were like Seinfeld and Cheers and Hill Street Blues all tested poorly with focus groups. So I guess another running theme is that no one is qualified to say what's funny.
Yeah, if you're not currently actively in a writer's room, then you can't tell us what's funny.
No, if you're not Matt Albee, i.e. Aaron Sorkin, you're not qualified to say what's funny.
Oh yeah, because his pot shots at focus groups are just saying, they're all people who are too bad at writing to become actual writers. Mm-hmm. But also, he does hate everyone in the writer's room.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not Aaron Sorkin, then you're not qualified to say what is or is not funny. You heard it here first. Aaron Sorkin understands how jokes work. So a PA comes in and is like, do you need anything, Matt Albee? And he's like, yeah, get me all the newspapers. Because I guess I'm doing political jokes now. And then we go back to the dressing room where the big three are still arguing about whether or not to do the Ealing, Missouri joke. And Harriet is like, Ealing, Missouri is a company town where they make bread and...
They're sweet, simple folks. Clay of the earth.
Why are we making fun of them just for wanting to do what they want to do and be Christian and pure? And it's like, you know what, Harriet? Because they ran over what a bunch of kids wanted to do with their play.
Again, going back to the Christian movie thing we mentioned earlier, in those movies, mm-hmm. they always have the bad guy be the ACLU or, some big city type who wants to plow down the church and build low-income housing because these movies are made for middle-class white ladies. And, the scariest thing is that a bunch of poor people might live next door to you. But if you're watching, without that perspective, you're like, okay, why is it bad that they want to build affordable housing for low-income people instead of having a church no one goes to?
Well,
you wrote this, but the thing is, the point is, in this situation Aaron Sorkin wrote, these people are trying to shut down a play someone wants to put on.
Right, exactly. There's one that's called, Courage with a capital C or something. That's not the right name, but I'm not going to look it up. But the plot is that the big ACLU guy from New York is coming down and making them take down their crosses and their nativity display because it's on public land. And he's shown as evil. They're like, nobody in this town is upset by the fact that we have Christian iconography in our courthouse, thus sending the message to all non-Christians that they are lesser. And it's like, well, somebody in this town cares, because somebody in this town called the ACLU and said they feel like they're not going to be given a fair hearing at court because it's being signaled to them that Jesus is God and that law derives from Jesus and they don't believe in him. The
ACLU is not going through towns looking for religious iconography to shut down for no reason. Someone called them.
Exactly, right? So, as you said, someone wants to put this play on, and the people in power, the people in power are not, it's relative when you're talking about a town of 4,000 people whose main export is bread, but there are people who hold power in that town, and they are shutting down a play that people want to do.
Yeah. If everyone was in agreement that the play was a universal bad, it wouldn't have been pitched in the first place. The play is coming from inside the house, Sarah Paulson's character, who is just Kirsten Chenoweth.
Yeah, although I mean, maybe I'm putting Kristen Chenoweth on too much of a pedestal here, but I do not believe she would not understand this.
Seriously.
She played a witch!
She played a witch, and she's very supportive of, her gay fans.
Oh, that is true, but also, there's an episode where Harriet gets in trouble for that, and I have so much to say about it, but we gotta wait till we get to that episode.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, the kids in this small town who are gay are probably in the theater program. They're probably the ones who wanted to do Grease and then The Crucible.
It's true. That's true.
Because those are the two spectrums of small town gayness. Grease is on one end, and The Crucible is on the other end. Those are the two directions you can go in as a small town gay.
So, Sarah Paulson pitches a different joke, which is
genuinely funny. This is genuinely the funniest joke anyone tells this episode.
And the joke is that new legislation is going to allow bear hunting with automatic weapons and silencers. When asked for comment, a bear said, "Roar!"
That's funny!
Okay, I don't want to ruin the joke by dissecting it.
Go on.
It's funny because the way that the joke is set up, you expect this to be an anthropomorphized bear who can give a comment, but instead it is a bear. So the bear said roar is a funny punchline because it subverts your expectation that has been set up.
And if you did it as a 15-second sketch, it wouldn't be enough to take the place of the amazing small town anti-play sketch.
Well, no, don't forget, this is news. This is Weekend Update. So it's just the line and then we move on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and she's after she does it, no one laughs, and she's like, well, I can sell it, I can make it funny. And it's like, you don't need to. It was funny when you told it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need to perform jokes, right?
Yeah.
You can't...
But she was performing it.
Yeah. So, Jeannie comes in.
Oh my god, things weren't about Jeannie for 10 goddamn seconds.
Hey, I like Jeannie. I'm
going to be completely serious here. I have thought of this character as brunette woman number 2 in every scene she has had up to this point in the show.
Okay, well, you can think of her as Commedia dell'arte girl from now on.
Oh, right.
Jeannie comes in and she's upset that she pitched the Commedia dell'arte sketch, and
it was her only sketch that got picked up, and they're like, you're in a bunch of other stuff. And she's like, I'm girl who smells fart at party.
She gets very angry. She hits the transformer, or the, breaker box that's in the room, and they lose power again. And Harriet's like, maybe God hates you because you fucked my ex. Just kidding. God hates Simon. That's not a funny joke, Aaron Sorkin.
What is your issue with Simon? What is your issue with the one black character in the show?
He's not even the one who's pitching the Ealing, Missouri stuff. That's Tom.
Yeah. Weird choices here.
Anyway, Jordan shows up at the studio to tell Matt and Danny that she wants them to write a sketch about her. Specifically that she doesn't want them to lay off talking about her DUI because she doesn't want them to treat her any differently. And it's like, it's not that funny that you got a DUI.
Seriously, like, drunk driving kills a lot of people. There's not really a funny side to it.
Funnily enough, that's Danny's point.
I don't know, maybe if it was Wonder Woman drunk flying the invisible plane, that would be kind of funny. Although, again, too close to 9/11 for that to really be a joke
right?
you pull off.
I do like, Danny and Jordan walk into Matt's office, and Matt's like, what do you want? And Danny's like, Jordan wants you to make fun of her. And he goes, okay, your teeth are too big.
Wow, what a mean thing to say.
She said she wanted him to make fun of her.
I know, but that feels like...
He had that ready. He had that locked and loaded.
Which, speaking of Ryan Murphy, it just reminds me of the thing that allegedly Ryan Murphy did on his shows, where if he was angry at an actor, he'd write a speech where another character has a speech attacking their physical features and mannerisms.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like, there's a scene that was being shared around a lot where Santana goes all in on Kurt, and after the thing, I forget if it was actually in Nia Rivers' biography or if it was somewhere else, but it completely recontextualizes her tearing into Kurt when it's just a bunch of really mean stuff about Chris Colfer's appearance and singing and acting mannerisms. It kind of reads differently when you're like, oh, this is just Ryan Murphy was mad at an actor and said a bunch of really mean shit to them on television.
That is rough. Anyway, Jordan and Danny do a walk and talk out of Matt's office. And Danny wants to know how much of their audience they have to retain for her to not be in trouble with everything. We go to commercial, and when we come back, it is dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And we're seeing Science Schmiance again.
Oh, what a treat. The first time wasn't enough.
Ricky and Ron drag Danny away. They're angry because none of their sketches are on the air, and, you know, this is bad. They point out that if Matt is going to write the whole show himself every week, he's going to burn out in like 6 weeks. And luckily, Aaron Sorkin doesn't have to worry about that because he'll be canceled by then.
Yeah. And, like, again, they have a point. Remember his whole thing with the clock last episode?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is already starting to fray, and we've already seen a little bit of it. We saw him being a little bit manic when he was dealing with the Science Schmiance sketch the first time we saw it. So we are actually already starting to see him come apart at the seams. But now we learn, because Danny lets them know, why Matt hates them so much. And it's because after 9/11, when Bill Maher was canceled, and Matt stood up for Bill Maher, they did not stand up for Matt.
Oh no, they didn't stand up for Bill Maher and therefore damned Matt to Cancellation Town?
Well, when a reporter asked them if they agreed with Matt when it came to Bill Maher, they said, no, we stand with the people who lost their lives on 9/11.
Okay, yeah, that phrasing's not great for Matt.
Yeah, right? And they point out, hey, they're the ones who want to do Bush sketches, and Danny's like, yeah, now that he's unpopular, go figure.
Yeah. Fair, but also, this is the weird thing about TV, where it seems like you have to both have an incredibly thick skin, and yet have the thinnest skin on Earth. Because, like, there's no way people didn't more directly attack Matt in earlier parts of his career. I guess it's because they did this after he made it. And, like, once you have the thick skin and you make it, then you suddenly get thin skin again.
Well, I mean, I think he has thin skin because he got fired. I think he's just sensitive to the fact that he got fired. Even though he apparently went on to have a successful career after that, so whatever.
Again, we are sort of talking about Aaron Sorkin here.
So, in Jordan's office, Jack and the PR lady are there, and they are telling her that they figured out where the leak came. It turns out, we found out earlier that her DUI, she had a deferred judgment, so it shouldn't be part of the public record, so she doesn't know how it got leaked.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they figured out it got leaked by her ex-husband, who she was married to for 9 months, years and years ago. He's pushing a book, and a tell-all book, and they want to know, will it be worth buying, right? Does he have juicy stories? And this is when we talked about, she lets them know that he made her go to sex clubs.
Where they watched people have sex.
Yeah. I do like her line. She says, I married a slug. And Jack says, I'm not a good husband either, but I don't make my wife go to Plato's retreat. And Jordan says, you make her go to the People's Choice Awards.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack says, you didn't mention any of this in your interview. And you know what, Jack? It would have been illegal for you to ask or to base your judgments on the fact that she was a divorced woman. Are you saying you wouldn't have hired her if you knew she had an ex-husband, Jack? Is that what you're saying? Anyway, he tells her that she needs to retain 90% of the audience or she's gonna be fired.
Out of a cannon, into the sun.
So it is now show night, and we are back at Studio 60.
Another opening, another show.
Yes.
Kiss Me Kate.
I know.
Okay. I haven't listened to the soundtrack in a while, so I could have been really, really off on
it was really good. It was good.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that we don't get a clear shot of the board like we did last week, so I didn't write down all the sketch names like I did last week.
Yeah, well, we get to see enough of them in person.
I did write those down. So...
I forgot we actually saw Pimp My Trike.
Don't get ahead of us! We've only been talking about the show for an hour and a half. We're not ready to talk about Pimp My Trike yet. Danny essentially tells Matt he needs to forgive Rick and Ron. And Matt says Gary Marshall rewrote an episode of Happy Days 100 years ago and let them keep their name on it, and they've been eating lunch out on it ever since. That does not make any sense.
Danny kind of points it out, not exactly why it doesn't make sense. He's just like, they were 2 when Happy Days came out.
The reason it doesn't make any sense is because the Writers Guild has very specific rules about whose name goes on scripts. If your name is on the script, it is because you were fundamental to the writing of that episode. I bring this up because this character is Ricky Tahoe, and I would like everyone to know that the only episode of West Wing that ever won an Emmy for writing was written by Ricky Cleveland. I feel like this line is very out of place, and yet somehow exactly where it is meant to be.
I can't believe the West Wing only won 1 Emmy for writing.
Mm-hmm.
That is so bizarre to me. It feels like the Emmyiest show to ever Emmy.
Yeah, I know, right? And I mean, to be fair, it won, for Best Drama, and Aaron Sorkin, as the showrunner, is the one who is,
who got to keep the Emmy.
Who got to keep the Emmy. Also, interestingly, Matt Perry didn't win, but was nominated a couple of times for guest actor.
Oh.
On West Wing.
Huh.
Yeah, that's just a fun little thing.
I guess him and Aaron Sorkin are friends in real life.
I guess, or at least they enjoyed working together. Also, Happy Days never won any Emmys for writing. Just, this whole thing.
Shocking.
This whole thing is nonsense.
Unlike Mork and Mindy, which won all the Emmys.
I didn't look up how many Emmys Mork and Mindy won.
I'm sure none. Are you going to look it up now?
Nah, it's not worth it.
It is. That is the right attitude to have for Mork and Mindy.
Peter, if you're listening, send us a message on Blue Sky and tell us how many Emmys Mork and Mindy won, if any. Okay, so Jeannie comes in and is like, I can't do this sketch because it's not funny, nobody laughs, it's terrible. And Danny's like, the Moliere sketch? And then Matt gets to be like, Moliere was French, not Italian. Do you think that Moliere did Commedia dell'arte? Everyone shut up.
I want to punch this conversation in the face and shove it into a locker.
Even Jeannie is annoyed at them.
Is it Commedia dell'arte? You're continuing the joke.
Oh. I mean, I
It's like Alanis Morissette's Ironic song, where ironically she doesn't say anything ironic in it.
Anyway, Matt tells her that 2 people found it funny, and she just needs to hang in there because people will get it after they've seen it a bunch of times. So tonight it's going to go up by 3. 3 people are going to think it's funny in the focus group today, and if they don't, then he'll pay her $1 million. And if they do, then he's going to make her a t-shirt that she has to wear at the cast party that says, Matt is my hero, and Danny thinks that Moliere is Italian.
This is theoretically inspirational, I guess. I think that's what they're going for here. It's so don't break your back sucking your own dick.
Oh, really? Because now they're going to go into the dressing room, and Harriet's going to explain why she can't do the joke about Ealing, Missouri. And it's because, the average person in that town only makes $18,000 a year. I can't go out there and make fun of them just because they want to raise their kids a certain way.
I can't make fun of those poor, innocent, wholesome, dirt-fucking garbage people who wouldn't know real, true art if it bit them in their ignorant, bad-smelling asses because they never bathe and are also ugly and probably fuck their own cousins. Like, it is the most condescending defense of someone I think I've ever heard.
Are you sure? Because Matt says to Simon and Tom, like, she was able to win you over with her arguments. Next time she starts to win an argument, just call me and have me come down here. We used to date. I'm very good at showing her that she's always wrong.
Jesus.
What the fuck, Matt?
Okay, so Matt and Danny start to have it out here. Their partnership is fraying. We're going to see the accumulation of this later.
Alright. And then the show starts.
The show must and does go on. And this might shock you, but it's fucking brilliant and everyone loves it and it's the most hilarious thing ever.
Alright, let's talk about some of the sketches we see. You ready?
Alright,
I wrote them all down.
Let's dive into it.
The Nicolas Cage Show, which appears to be a talk show hosted by Nicolas Cage.
We didn't mention this earlier, but the cast member who was played by Simon Helberg was like, he was the Tom Cruise, and they're like, can you do a Tom Cruise? And he's like, I can do Ben Stiller, and Ben Stiller can do a Tom Cruise.
Okay, I actually thought that line was pretty funny.
That line was funny. It was funny. It wasn't an impression. It was funny. The line.
No, I thought the line, I can do Stiller, and Stiller can do Cruise. That's a funny line.
Yeah, no, it's a funny line. But his impressions are basically, look at me, I'm moving my hands around a lot. I have physicality, like Tom Cruise has physicality. And now I'm Nick Cage. Look at me, I'm Nick Cage. I'm moving my hands around. Yeah.
I'm a sexy cat. Okay.
No, that's too much like Nick Cage. His Nick Cage is exactly like his Tom Cruise, and his Tom Cruise is just moving his hands a lot. And like talking kind of fast.
Okay, I actually thought his Tom Cruise was pretty good.
Well, you get to see it again in his Nick Cage.
Alright, so we see...
And I like Simon Helberg. He's funny in other stuff.
I mean, clearly they thought, hey, Simon Helberg can do impressions, let's...
Can he?
Clearly they thought he could!
It kind of... it weirdly reminds me of in Parks and Rec. They're constantly having Amy Poehler... They're having Leslie Knope do impressions because Amy Poehler is famously bad at impressions. And that's the running joke in Parks and Rec, that Leslie Knope is constantly doing the worst impressions ever.
I am very bad at impressions too. In fact, I believe the only thing about me that's on TV Tropes right now is that I'm bad at impressions.
That's not true. They also have that time we were wrong about when Alias aired, in our Charmed podcast. That's also on TV Tropes, which you were correct, whoever corrected us on that.
I am, though. Like, I own that. I'm terrible at impressions.
Yeah. I remember your Rogue on the,
That's what's on TV Tropes!
Yeah. I mean, I'm not great at them either. Or good, even.
I'm all like, I think we need to go to the helicopter. That's my Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's your get to the chopper.
Exactly. Anyway, Yeah, so let's see. What else do we have? We have New 60, obviously. The press conference, because they did decide to do a political sketch, but we don't see any jokes in it. Science Schmiance.
Good, we get to see that again.
A golf sketch, the premise of which just seems to be that a guy at a golf game is responding like you do at a normal sport, like getting all excited, even though it's golf where you're not supposed to.
I mean, honestly, that seems like a pretty solid premise for a sketch.
Yeah,
It seems like it would be a better Mad TV sketch or a middling SNL sketch. I mean, that's not fair. There are Mad TV sketches I really like a lot.
My problem with it is that looking at it, it looks really derivative of Happy Gilmore, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I never saw that. I'm not an Adam Sandler guy.
And then, obviously, we see Pimp My Trike, which looks like a hate crime.
It really does. I feel really bad for D.L. Hewley, because, like, this seems like the sort of thing you would leave off your resume because you were embarrassed by it.
I mean, in a future episode, he's going to talk about how he can't stand it when black comedians do, like, low-hanging jokes. Apparently completely unaware of what's happening in the show within a show of Studio 60.
No, it's commentary or whatever.
Okay, we also see a little bit of the Commedia dell'arte bit. And, okay.
I am the dog who behaves like a man. How foolish am I?
Okay, what we see is Jeannie in an outfit, an Italian Renaissance outfit, like at a Starbucks, ordering in kind of a highfalutin speech. And I just want to point out that we have been told that she is portraying Pantaloon, who is like an old miserly man character who has a very distinctive costume he wears that is not this costume. And he's kind of like a Scrooge McDuck or a Mr. Burns character. She's behaving more like a Harlequin character, which is again emphasized because she is not wearing a mask. One of the main things about Commedia dell'arte, which is that a lot of characters wear masks, especially the Pantaloon clown character. I just said Pantaloon clown. I'm sorry. That's not a clown character. They call it a clown character earlier. There are clowns in Commedia dell'arte. They're like masters and servants. It's a master character. And the servant characters are clown characters. I mean, it feels like they've just put her in random
fancy clown costume
and then had her speak in like highfalutin English, and they were like, there, that's the joke. What's the joke? Because
wouldn't it be funny if you were in an ordinary situation and an unusual character entered and behaved unusually?
Okay, here's the thing. What you just said, that's
every single SNL sketch.
Yeah, and that's fine. That could be funny. But
Shud the Mermaid.
But they kept acting like America is stupid for not getting Commedia dell'arte. There's nothing Commedia dell'arte about what she is doing here. So don't act like America is the one that's stupid, Aaron. You're stupid.
We're going to have a restraining order against us. Aaron Sorkin is going to put a restraining order against us, and now we'll never be able to go to Hollywood.
All right, let's finish this. Let's finish this piece of shit.
Oh, and we find out that they did replace...
Yeah, they did cut the Ealing, Missouri joke. They replaced it with the Bear Said Roar.
No, they didn't. They replaced it with the Roseanne Barr thing they mentioned earlier.
Oh, no, they replaced it with the Bear Said Roar. We just don't see her perform that joke. Yeah.
And then Gwen Stefani plays a song.
We never see Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, we cut from Rob Reiner saying, and now Gwen Stefani to backstage, because apparently Gwen Stefani had better things to do than be in this show, which,
Good for her.
See a band from very far away and very poorly lit.
Well, I think that's the in-house band.
Yeah, I guess they don't have the guest band do all the music. Although they should. I think that would really spice SNL up.
Well, last week, the Philharmonic did all of the musical stuff. Like, they didn't just do the cold open, they had them do, like, the musical bits, too.
Yeah, so you should have just had Gwen Stefani's band, No Doubt. Is it No Doubt?
Yeah, but I think she's performing solo at this point.
Yeah. You know, No Doubt had her brother in it.
I did know that.
Speaking of King of the Hill, they were in that one episode of King of the Hill.
Oh, yeah, they were.
The hamster girl and something boy. The one where Connie pretends to be a older child with some sort of disability in order to take classes in high school. And then Bobby pretends to be a dying older kid so that he can go to high school with her. Anyway, the show is a rousing success despite it being way too smart for everyone. Everyone loves it.
And we get to go to the after party where everybody's kind of mingling and congratulating each other.
People are asking Matt Albie to sign their autographs in bare breasts.
Okay, so then this woman, like, stops Simon, and she's, like, pretty and blonde, and she's like, hey, I'm just crashing the party. They let me in because I'm super hot. Because, you know...
Look at my boobs.
There aren't super hot women in L.A.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, she looks like she's just a pretty blonde woman. There's lots of those in L.A.
There's lots of them in the Midwest, too. She's like Idaho 9.
What's really weird is the way she flirts with Simon and the way she, like, is definitely trying to ingratiate herself with him. And the way that we stop and see this exchange, it feels like they're setting her up to be, like, someone with one of the Christian organizations who's there so that she can, like, get
a gotcha.
Right. But no, this is it. She does not appear on this show again. I don't understand
the point of this scene.
The point of her. Yes.
So someone gets Danny to sign a newspaper clipping about his arrest, and he's like, ugh, thanks. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, then he goes into this after party's being held in a hotel, and Jordan's standing by the concierge desk waiting for Jack to fax over the ratings to her. And he basically yells at her for driving drunk. And
he's like, drunk, which, to be fair, he's right.
But still,
she's like, so, two of us are in the same boat, huh? And he's like, drunk drivers kill thousands of people every year. People on coke only kill themselves. Which I'm sure lots of people have been murdered by people on coke.
The thing is, like, drunk driving is abhorrent. He's not wrong. I think
he's just an asshole.
And I think the reason this bugs me so much is because he's so obviously, like, negging her because he wants to do her.
Yeah, he wants to, in the, words of Xander Harris, doink her.
Ugh, it's so weird. And then this is when he says the line I mentioned earlier where he says, you look like one of them, but you talk like one of us.
Ugh. I read some really depressing statistics about the massive amount of people who die in car accidents every year. I know we looked it up, and it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. I know it was still pretty bad, but... Because it's like the number 3 cause of death of Americans, right? It was like heart stuff, then it was cancer, then it was accidents, which, involves car accidents is like the main one, I would say. Although I guess I don't know that for sure.
I don't know. I remember looking it up, but I can't speak with confidence about it.
Heart stuff is the number 1 killer, though. I'm almost entirely sure about that. I remember there's a Simpsons episode where they all move to somewhere in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And, like, the quality of life is so much better there. And Lisa's like, yeah, and they eat more ice cream than any other country. And, oh no, heart disease is their main cause of death. And it's like, yeah, that's most places. Heart disease is the main cause of death in most places.
Well, your heart stopping
is what kills you.
Yeah, a lot of times when you don't know what killed someone, you just put down that their heart stopped. Anyway, Matt shows up at the party, and he goes to talk to Harriet about the fact that she needs to let him know that even though she thinks that they shouldn't make fun of people in Missouri, she performed Midsummer Night's Dream in the park, and then she does a little thing where she does her Helena lines with a Holly Hunter impression to make Matt laugh because they're still in love and it's going to be a conflict. And then in his discussion with her, he has one of those house epiphanies where he realizes that Danny was the one who put the question about patriotism into the original focus group to get Matt to, like, stop being a pussy. And
boy.
Stop being a pussy boy.
I keep thinking that's how they got pussy past the censors. Because it feels like that was one of the words he really shouldn't have been saying on TV in this time period. But if you said pussy boy as one word, then for some reason that's different enough to get it,
Yeah. Anyway, he realizes that Danny's the one who put in the thing about patriotism. So he runs out to the water because
Danny's standing at the water because he's too cool for this party.
Yeah, this party's this hotel is on a beach. So he runs out and he tackles him in the sand and he's like, "Why did you do that? And does this look super gay?" I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, they have a whole thing where, they're yelling at each other because he's like, "I did it because it was necessary because you were too afraid to be Matt Albee. And this show needs the full Matt Albee to succeed." And the full Matt Albee's like, "Is it gay that I'm straddling you?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, you have to either punch me or get off me or people are going to think we're gay." Because you know what gay guys love to do? Tackle one another into the beach and then just kind of sit there.
Anyway, back at the hotel, inside the hotel.
The ratings are in and everyone won a chocolate factory.
The ratings are so good that instead of faxing them over, Jack just rolled up with his whole entourage.
Yes, he came in person to tell Jordan that the ratings actually grew 120%.
So, 109 actually, so instead of
So
losing...
it's more plausible.
Yes. So instead of losing anybody, they have 9% more people watching than were watching last week. So it's all very exciting. Everything they're doing is right. They've been proven right. Jordan runs around to tell everybody. And then we get a little montage of everyone at Studio 60 being super happy. We see Simon introduce Tom to the blonde girl who snuck into the party for some reason.
This goes nowhere.
We see Danny dancing with Harriet, but in a chaste way because Harriet is for Matt.
Ugh.
We see Matt bring Jeannie a shirt that says
Matt Albee is right about everything, and Danny thinks Commedia dell'arte is French or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And this is all over a montage. He holds up 4 fingers, right? So it wasn't just 3 people who liked it this week. It was 4 people liked it this week. And we see Jordan pick up a drink from a tray that's coming by and then put it back down.
Yeah, and also the guy who went on to be in The Office later picks up Simon Helberg and spins him around a little bit. Because I guess he's happy he pulled off the impression.
Which guy? You went on to be in The Office.
Yeah, he was Nate in The Office.
No, he's not in the show.
Oh, who's the guy in the trio who's not D.L. Hewley or
his name is Nate in real life. It's Nate Cordry, but he was never on The Office.
Oh, I thought Nate Cordry was
yeah, no, I know who you think he is.
Colin Allard.
Colin Robinson. He's not.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. He was on The Daily Show, though.
I assumed because he's Rob Corddry's younger brother.
Yeah.
And nepotism.
Yep.
Okay, speaking of SNL, what's his face? The Weekend Update guy? Seth Meyers. His younger brother keeps on showing up in other projects he does.
Oh, yeah.
And he was also in Mad TV, come to think about it. Is that weird? Seth Meyers' younger brother was in Mad TV when Seth Meyers was on SNL.
That is weird. So, everybody's celebrating, everybody's happy, but
Matt... the Barinholtzes were the ones who became the comedy legacy team or whatever.
That's true. Huh. So everybody's happy and celebrating, but Matt walks out to his car, and he just has a graduate moment, where he looks out and he's like, "Oh shoot, I gotta do it all again next week."
Which is also how the last episode ended. He looks at the clock, and the clock restarts, and he's like, "Uh-oh."
Yep. It's a theme. It's a motif. It's a running thing.
So in conclusion, that was a brilliant episode of television, and it should have got all the Emmys.
I mean, I don't know if I can judge if it was brilliant or not, because I'm not a brilliant writer like Aaron Sorkin.
It's true. We are ignorant garbage people who are able to appreciate the true brilliance that is this show.
All right, let's talk about our segments.
All right.
Our first segment is half as long and twice as funny, which is where we talk about when 30 Rock did this better.
Okay, Bear and Robot Talk Show is a funnier version of their fake
Nicolas Cage talk show?
I was going to say their Weekend Update, which also involved bears. But yes, I guess Nicolas Cage Talk Show would be the Bear and Robot Talk Show. The Commedia dell'arte thing would probably be what Pam, the overly confident, morbidly obese woman.
I don't know.
I think that might be their hindsight man, right?
No, I would say that the Commedia dell'arte is their version of this.
Fart Doctor?
No, the Scottish play McDonald's one.
Yes. No, it made me think about the fact that the 30 Rock sketches are supposed to be bad, which weirdly makes them way funnier than these. Like,
because they have the freedom to be absurd with them, and absurdity can have a humor that you don't have to structure, whereas these are supposed to be, like, finely structured Swiss watches of comedy.
Like, all of the Jenna Maroney, so-and-so gets their period, or the Hitlersons.
Okay.
Where Jenna and Tracy are both Hitler and they're married, which honestly feels like a send-up of Heil, Honey, I'm Home, the worst sitcom ever created.
Yes. Have you actually watched an episode of it? I watched an episode of it just to see.
I saw clips from the first episode. I hadn't seen the whole first episode, but, like...
It's as bad as you think.
From the name, and you can guess what the premise is. It's...
Yeah.
Why anyone thought that was a good idea?
At this time, people confused offensive with edgy and edgy with funny.
It was like a 70s thing, though, wasn't it?
No, it was like in the 90s.
Heil, Honey, I'm Home was in the 90s?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Alright, so I went a little more, like, specific with my stuff.
Alright.
And I was honing in on the patriotism thing. And I was focusing on the episode of 30 Rock where Jenna is accused of being unpatriotic because when she's being
the fireworks thing.
Yes, when she's being interviewed by Maxim magazine, the music is too loud and she says she hates the troops, but of course she means theater troops.
Yeah.
Because they're so pretentious.
And obviously gay and everyone's doing each other.
And then Maxim magazine prints that and she has to go on, like, she has to go on a publicity blitz, proving that she is in fact patriotic.
They put her in an American flag, like, bikini thing, and she does a performance with these spinning, it's supposed to be spinning fireworks, but they break, and then there's swastikas.
Yeah, when they don't spin, they just look like swastikas on fire. Interestingly enough, that's episode 115 of 30 Rock, and it's called Hardball.
Mm-hmm.
I saved this to mention here. We didn't see the whole board behind Matt, but I did see one sketch up on the board called Extremely Hard Copy.
Oh my god.
And I have to admit, I feel like I don't know what that is, but I feel like that could be a good sketch.
Yeah, well, it's hard copy, but it's also porn.
That's, what I was thinking, yeah. Or, like, hard copy, but everybody has uncomfortable erections, and they were trying to do it, like, while hiding their erections.
Oh my god, yeah, those are too good to be on the show. Sorry, Aaron Sorkin, I think we're funnier than you. What?
Our second segment is You Know My Work, which is what part of this is taken from Aaron Sorkin's actual life.
I'm assuming... Is it unfair for me to go to this well every time? I mean, I know you're going to do the Ricky Tahoe thing, but, I feel like this is an argument he had with Kirsten Chenoweth at some point.
I feel like the line, I used to date her, I'm used to telling her she's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that definitely came from a real argument. Actually, that's not...
I do want to backtrack really briefly to our previous segment. The quote that you did way earlier, the whole, that'll get them off their tractors to watch your commie propaganda thing, that was the perfect encapsulation of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I didn't put that here is because that could be every episode of this show.
Yes, true.
I actually didn't go with a Harriet moment, though, for my You Know My Work, and that is, instead I talked about the ratings, which isn't really fair because Aaron Sorkin wasn't thinking of that when he wrote this, but I did want to note that it was going to be super dire if they lost 10% or more of the audience between last episode and this episode in the show within a show.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, Aaron Sorkin lost 12% of the audience.
Oof.
I actually downloaded a thing. Hold on. Let me pull this up.
All right.
I mean, I have so much hate for Aaron Sorkin in my heart that there's no need for me to go outside to get more. But I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist bringing in a Time Magazine article from December 17th, 2006.
All right.
Called 5 Things That Went From Buzz to Bust.
Wow.
Yeah. And funnily, the little, the internet-friendly list, this entry on the list is called Studio Schmudio.
Oh.
Like Science Schmiance?
Yeah.
How, pundits ask, could Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip miss? It was made by the guy who did The West Wing. It had that funny guy from Friends. It was about Saturday Night Live. There had been a network bidding war for it. But after the first episode, viewership plummeted. And while the show's not exactly a failure, it's not a success. And it's pretty expensive to be only the 51st most popular on TV.
Wow. This is why you don't flex on star power.
Well, and, I mean, I don't know how true this is, but I have been reading, and doing my research for this show, that one of the reasons it got canceled so quickly is because the cast was so expensive that it just couldn't justify staying on the air.
See, the thing is, outside of, weirdly, I think, Matt Perry, you don't really have any, A-list talent price-wise. But if you have enough B and C-list talent price-wise, that adds up.
Oh, yeah. So our final segment is Listen, Lady, a gender I write perfectly well for when the story calls for it, which is what was the worst...
Babe.
Kitten?
Kitten. Yes, I'm sorry, kitten.
What was the worst moment for women in this episode?
Kitten.
Oh. Yeah.
9/11 kitten.
That was pretty bad. I mean, I feel like her being dressed down for not knowing that jingoism is a thing that affects entertainment in the year 2005 is bad, but not as bad, I don't think, as her being yelled at for having a bad ex-husband. And that was pretty bad, too.
It's so weird to me that this show has a strong female character specifically to be torn down by everyone all the time. That feels weird to me.
I mean, that's Aaron Sorkin.
That is Aaron Sorkin.
So I think that does it for this week.
I think that'll about do it.
Our show is partially listener-supported. If you want to be one of the supporters, you should head over to our website, www.welcometotelevision.net, and click on our Patreon link. We'd like to thank our current $5 and above patrons, Beryl, Patricia, Rosa, Ryan, Maricruz, Benjamin, Kate, Jen, Dan, Anthony, and Daniel.
If you'd like to support the show in other ways, you could always rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find the show.
If you want to talk about this episode, or any episode of any television show, hit me up if you want to talk about how the West Wing failed. Then you can find us on Blue Sky at Welcome to Television, or you can email us at ilovetelevisionzines@gmail.com.
So until next time, I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And this has been Welcome to the Sunset Strip.